Turning now to one of the most high-profile racketeering cases in Fulton County, Georgia. It is not the one involving former President Donald Trump. District Attorney Fani Willis has accused rapper Jeffrey Williams, who goes by the name Young Thug, of co-founding a violent street gang named Young Slime Life. During opening statements Monday, prosecutors said Young Thug used his music to promote the gang's drug and gun-related activities. Young Thug denies any wrongdoing, but several of his co-defendants have already pleaded guilty ahead of this trial. For more, let's bring in Noah Pines. He's a partner at the Atlanta-based law firm Ross and Pines. Noah, thanks for your time. As we said, the second most famous racketeering case in Fulton County, Georgia, but one a lot of people are paying attention to. Given that some of Young Thug's co-defendants have already pleaded guilty, how difficult of a case is this to defend?
Well, some would say it is the most famous case, at least right now, that, Young Thug is more popular than Donald Trump here in Atlanta. But they started with 28 defendants. They're down to 6. A lot of those defendants who pled are not testifying. At least that's what their lawyer said, that they're not going to be testifying against Mr. Williams. This is a big case. It's different than the Trump case. Trump is really confined to one sort of an act related to the election. This is an indictment that spans multiple years and involves a lot of conduct, including murders and robberies and drug trafficking.
So, no, what do they say he did?
Well, they think he's the kingpin. He's the boss. In the opening statements from the prosecutors, they said there was an agreement, an unspoken agreement, which I don't know how you have an unspoken agreement in a criminal case if you're saying that somebody's part of it. But they think that Mr. Williams is the kingpin, that he's sort of the, quote, mob boss when you think of a RICO case, and that he is the one who is either directing people to commit these crimes or rewarding them for committing the crimes. And that, I think, is going to be the hard part in this case. The Trump case is kind of different. You have Donald Trump at the top. We know what he said to everybody. We know what he said out loud. And then you have his minions kind of acting for him. And in this case, they have a whole bunch of conduct that they've alleged these other defendants have done, including defendants who pled guilty. And now they have to prove that Mr. Williams was the head of the state.
RICO cases really fascinate people, don't they? Mob cases.
Well, I mean, it's a criminal case plus, right? Criminal case is really typically one act, one incident. And a RICO case is an umbrella where you can bring in multiple acts, multiple incidents to say that, hey, these are related, whether it's drug trafficking, whether it's a mob case, whether it's people breaking into cars, whether it's stealing mail and check fraud. RICO really is just an umbrella to bring multiple acts together to give the jury a bigger picture of what's going on rather than this is just one incident.
And prosecutors here plan to use rap lyrics, if I'm understanding this right, as evidence of the gang activity. Can he say that, can he claim artistic expression, for example?
Well, that's one of the defenses is it's, your First Amendment, it's artistic expression. They've asked the judge to keep it out. The judges agreed to let it in. I think that's a mistake. If you think about all the songs you grew up loving, just because somebody sang it doesn't mean it's true. The state's saying, the prosecutor's saying, well, what he's rapping about is very similar to what happened. But that happens, with all artists, whether musical artists in all different kinds of genres, especially when you're talking about rap. So I think that's a stretch. When I was a prosecutor, I kept things really tight, meaning I only allege things I could prove. I don't try to convince the jury for things that they're just not going to believe. And I mean, there's just so many, you can pick a million examples of other songs that say stuff that aren't necessarily true. You can watch an episode of FBI and, it mirrors what happens, in the country. You can listen to professional wrestlers who are artists, who are out there, who are, saying what they want to say, that they're going to kill somebody or they're going to beat somebody up. And it's just an act. These are artists. They're actors.
As a former prosecutor, do you think they've sealed this case up and surrounded it well, or do you think the defense has enough room to maneuver?
This is the biggest mess of a case that I've ever seen, in my 28 years of practice. Jury selection started early this year, like January this year. It's ridiculous that it's just getting to the trial part of it. You started with 28 defendants, you're down to 6. Not all of them pled, some were severed. This case has been a mess. And if you watched any of the opening statements today, I mean, there were interruptions, there was a motion for mistrial. The judge is getting, you know, his patience is tested. And these are smart defense lawyers, and they are going to do everything they can, not only to win this case, but to set up appellate issues. You know, God forbid that their clients get convicted. These are really, really smart lawyers on the defense side.
Interesting. No, if you say it's the biggest RICO case in Fulton County, I believe you. So I'm not going to argue with you.
It is of today.
We
we'll
appreciate
see how
your
Trump
time.
pans out. I've got my own thoughts about that. You can have me back when that comes. But I think that case will be way smaller when the time comes.
Very good. All right, Noah, thanks again.
Thank you.